you can fall in love with whoever you want to fall in love with and be with whoever you want to be with, but if you don't primarily identify with your own race, that may be some issues going on with you.
It seemed like he was an opportunist.
It's sad that he kind of reinforces the belief that models should be seen and not heard.
I just want to know, how much coke did he have before doing that interview?
WTV. Who's on this week? New York, LA, Chi-Town, DC, Atlanta, Miami. They know the T and Albany and New Orleans and Tennessee. Come sing with me. They're watching 3LWTV. Come watch with me.
Welcome to 3LWTV. I'm Lonell Williams. Happy New Year. Can't believe it is 2012 already. Now, when we last spoke, I had posted an episode of Pillow Talk featuring a model named Zarek. Well, Zarek told me a little bit about why he does not date black or Latino men, himself being half black and half Cuban, and his comment sparked an outrage amongst many of you. Now, while I did not invite Zarek onto Pillow Talk so that he could be personally attacked, his comments have certainly generated a very important discussion, one that I hope we'll continue to have. Let's take a look at some of your responses.
I've kind of temporarily chosen not to date anyone in the African American community.
Oh!
Yeah.
Let's explore that. So my next question would be, why?
I don't eat where I play, pretty much. And it's so strange is because becoming popular, you have this eye on you, to whereas like past relationships that I had, I felt were ruined because of the public eye and because of being around. I've seen my friends lose their boyfriends because of wanting to be social so much, you know what I mean? And I feel like you should keep your relationship away from the mess, you know what I mean?
I understand that, but what does that have to do with being black?
No, it has nothing to do with being black. I love my black boys, but when it boils down to it, like, I just don't want to be with anybody that's in the social circle or in the scene per se, period, you know, like, and I just, for me right now, haven't found that one guy that is of my, I mean, because I'm Latin, I'm Cuban, so the Latin boys are in that same boat too. You know what I mean?
I have to preface my comments by saying that I am a fan of Zarek's work. I admire his work as a model, but I was rather disappointed with the interview. Actually, I didn't even make it through the entire interview. I had to stop midway. It's sad that he kind of reinforces the belief that models should be seen and not heard. And I really don't want to personally attack him because I don't know him personally. But when you kind of stereotype or generalize an entire group of people or exclude them from your dating pool, that gives me pause.
I didn't feel offended by anything that he said. I didn't really see anything wrong with anything that he said. Basically, what I took from the video was that he has a preference, and right now it's not African American men, and you have to respect that. Not everybody is gonna like their own race, or not everybody is going to like to date outside of their race.
Allegedly, models do coke so they could, stay a certain figure or stay awake to do their jobs and stuff. And I just want to know, how much coke did he have before doing that interview? Because I cannot believe anybody would be that big and bold to get up there and make an ass of himself in your video and throw down a race or two races that he belongs to under the bus just to justify his dating lifestyle. My issue, like many other people, is not about his choice of race. It was the reasoning behind the choice of race.
I don't have a problem with him saying that he does not eat from the same circle he plays in. That was his comment. That's his right. That's his choice. If he's with somebody, he shouldn't be trying to hook up and date anyway. I've been in a situation kind of similar where you're dating within your circle, and it is a lot of mess a lot of times because people always have something to say. So I can totally understand that. Well, now, what I will say is I think that possibly he should have just worded how he felt differently, and it wouldn't be probably as much of a controversy as it is. He could have probably just left that out, still meant what he meant, but just left that out, because obviously that's ruffled a lot of feathers.
And how do you feel about it, Rod?
Well, I think he meant what he said. I mean, he mentioned African Americans and Latinos for a reason. And I personally think that he hasn't dealt with whatever internal issues or even external issues with being African American himself. And I'm perfectly fine with preferences. And I get the whole comment of you don't do business where you play. That makes perfect sense. But I think that he made certain generalizations and he attributed them to a specific group of people. Not just black people, but gay people in general. When you sit up and you talk about things like infidelity and you talk about things of not being able to be discreet, those are common characteristics of every human being, not just a particular group of people. There's no one person that is more we probably know some people that are more catty or whatever like that, but my whole point is that I hope he did misspeak in regards to trying to generalize those attributes as Latin or African American attributes. They are not.
I don't like when people speak in absolutes, and I completely endorse his choice for what he has to do for his life, or what he's chosen to do for his life, but just some things just kind of like, woo, stirred my spirit, and not in a good way. It was like speaking in absolutes about gay, black and Latin men, because he's black and Cuban, and has an Italian boyfriend for 6 years. Woo! Can't wait till I get there.
I honestly think maybe he's been through some stuff, maybe a little insecurities. I kind of see some insecurities, honestly. But I think that for the most part, he chose a lot of wrong words to say.
Well, I really wasn't offended by it. I just feel like it's real ignorant for him to have started off in your interview talking about gay marriage, and he wants people to be open-minded, but he has stereotyped his own ethnicity, his own people as being social, or what I would take as being promiscuous, and that's why he chose not to deal with them. But seems like from what I got from it, he likes Italian rich men.
It's kind of like what Oprah said, that collective hurt. That's what she's talked about, of just like of women and of even of like black people, is that when you see those types of things and people say those things about you as a group, people were hurt. I think that's what all the anger and outrage and the responses come. He was offensive. He was hurtful to people, blatantly talking to people who enjoy the club or who try to find love with a black man, want to be with a black man. Like, you ganged up on them, and he probably didn't mean to, but it just, it could have been a more graceful way, I think, of doing that.
It kind of goes both ways. When I was reading some of the comments, I understood where some of you guys were coming. Not all, but some. And some of the things that he said in the video, I kind of understood where he was coming from a different light. I think it's a thin line between stating your opinion and being a asshole.
No matter how many people I encounter that are assholes, that are liars, that are jerks, there's 6 billion people on this planet, and I cannot judge everybody or a group of people on my personal experiences. That's just what I have encountered in my life. And what's also helped me with that is, I tell people this all the time, I have to look at the parts that I play and stuff. We are all energy and we're all connected. And if you're constantly running into the same kind of people, when you move from town to town, club to club, place to place, you tried everything, but you keep encountering the same kind of people, it's more than likely not that race, it's you and something that you're putting out there to draw these wrong kinds of people into your life.
You could date whoever you want to. Doesn't matter if you're a black man and you like to date white men. Doesn't matter if you're Latin and you only like to date black or Asian. It's the reasoning that you have behind it. And what bothered me, like many other people, is that he said that all of us blacks are in the scene. All the Latinos are in the scene. And I was thinking, okay, you go to all these major cities like DC's DuPont Circle, New York's Greenwich Village, Chicago's Boys Town, Castro, and San Francisco. And if I'm not mistaken, it's mostly white men there, including the Italian Stallions, the one, he's supposed to be with right now. I wonder how that relationship is today. But not to digress, he just really, and on top of that, Lionel, I felt like you did give him the opportunity to clean up that statement, and for him to continue with his, I would say, statement of hatred, and really self-hatred, because I don't think it was an attack on us. I mean, just by watching the entire video, he did say from the beginning that he always had he always had a problem of his own image. He didn't like the way he looked until, I guess, he started modeling, or people kept giving him compliments about his look. And he's a beautiful person on the outside. In the video, he showed that he's a very ugly, insecure person on the inside.
I think it's a reflection of a deeper issue of us as a people, why people, want to other themselves. He was othering himself only on his black, but in his Latin status. He was just to say, this group of people is not of my caliber. They're on a different wavelength. They're too much into the scene. They're too much this. And it's like, I don't think he was being fair.
And I will be the first to admit, not all, but some African American men are not easy to date. Some of them, and once again, some of them, not all African American men, do not want to be in a monogamous relationship. They don't want to be with one person. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to have fun, and that's okay. I mean, if that's what you like. I feel it's probably the same way with the white community, with the Latin community, with the Korean, Asian, whatever homosexual lifestyle community is out there.
It was a form of self-hatred to me, even though he says he loves who he is, there's no self-hatred there. But when you can exclude an entire race of people based on stereotypes or assumptions or bad past experiences, I really think you are shortchanging yourself and you could be potentially missing out on your blessing. I've had tons, well, I wouldn't say tons. I've had a couple of bad experiences with black men, but if I had allowed those experiences to have power over my life and over my future choices, I would have missed out on the blessing that I currently have in my life. And I am with a black man who is really good to me. And there are great black men out there. And to hear Zarek say, that he just refuses to date men of color, it really kind of threw me for a loop.
I feel you see more successful homosexual relationships in other races more so than the African American races. And there are some African American men out there who have been with their mates for years, who have a successful relationship, and I applaud that. And I just feel like that needs to be shown more in our community.
What are your views on interracial dating? How do you feel about that?
I mean, well, clearly.
I've only ever dated, black.
Me too. So, I mean, it's not that we're just going to say, oh, well.
It's just, I look at it the way that gay people are only attracted to same sex.
Right.
I'm only attracted to opposite race.
Right.
I'm not attracted at all to a white person. And it's not because of anything about their personalities. It's just all external characteristics. I like things about African Americans.
I also understood where he came from when he was saying that, I don't want to say he's a celebrity, but he's somewhat in the spotlight. As far as him being a model, he has one of those faces where you will probably know him if you've seen him out because of his modeling or him even being on a show, Model City. And it's unfortunate that, and I'm not saying white people don't do it, I'm not saying Latin people don't do it, I'm not saying other races do it, but there are some African American guys who only will date you because of who you are or this certain status that you might have.
Like I said, he didn't offend me. You know,
Right.
I just watched the interview, and from what I got from it, it seemed like he was an opportunist, and that's one perception that I got. And it seemed like overall he really wanted to talk about what he wanted to say, what sounded good. You know,
And in the end, it come out wrong.
right.
Everything come out wrong.
He talked about he's been on billboards and he wanted to take his career to the next plateau, which is no different than anybody else who wants to be successful, you know, but maybe he has categorized the people who can't get him there as somebody he don't want to deal with.
He made the comment that he don't eat where he plays. So you're social and it's okay for you to hang out with them, but you don't date them, or I mean, it's just like it's too.
I just feel like he wanted to try to say a lot of stuff that he thought would sound appropriately, but if you watch back, it seems like he contradicted himself several times. Mm-hmm. You know, he called himself a playboy, and now he's wearing a ring because he's been committed for 6 years, you know, so which is it?
You're a model living in New York, so you don't have a social life, you don't go out, and the whole turning his nose up at the scene, and it was a lot of things going on in that it was just like a lot of like pathology or stuff going on. He was saying that was kind of like, really, you know, it would have been interesting to have him in a room, like if it was a live audience, and him saying that in a room full of like angry black gays with our forks up, and you know, you can hear it in the background. Oh, yeah, it was just. I find his arguments weren't developed.
Whatever it is personally that he's dealing with, you know, maybe this will be an opportunity for him to revisit some of those comments or those thoughts and really reach out to us, especially since if we're where he plays and we're where we work, then we're supporting you.
So when you say reach out to us, how could he do that? What do you mean?
Well, I just think that, I've seen Zarek out. He knows a very good friend of mine, and I think that what he does in the community is good. I just mean that I think that when he does interviews, or you know, if he sees you, Lionel, or does another interview like that, you know, he should make note that those aren't common attributes of African Americans or Latinos in general. You know, I think that he should retract that statement.
He should retract it. So if he retracts it, what does that?
I don't think he should. We all speak from personal experience, and he was speaking from his personal experience. And in the circles, maybe he shouldn't be running with the messy girls, and then you have to worry about it. But he's speaking from personal experience, and his personal experience is that when he's dated within his circle or within a group of his people, he's had mess.
So you don't feel that he threw the whole race under the bus?
I just think he misspoke.
He threw us under the bus, and not just the race. He threw gay culture under a bus as well.
How so?
Well, I mean, he just stated that, you know, I think in several times he used the term. Forgive me, because I'm misquoting, and I don't.
That's okay.
But
Clean it up.
Several times he just stated about being messy, people going back and talking back and forth, and he mentioned gay, and he mentioned African American, and he mentioned Latino. So to me, he's including all those factors as why a person is messy. So what I heard was, you're messy if you're gay, black, and Latin.
Don't read it as shade, people. Don't read it as a cut or whatever. It's just truly what it is. And I really hope that people that are close to him would, you know, be smart enough and be a friend enough to him to give him a wake-up call, to let him know, you know, what he did is not just degrading to a whole group of people that could have or probably were his fans, but really he did a disservice to himself. Because you look at it like this: I don't care if you're a black man dating a white guy, but when you call yourself excluding yourself from your own people, and you only want to be around white people, the minute they got a problem with you and want to let you know you're a how are you going to feel? I want you to think about that, Zarek, and everybody else who has that same attitude, because I'm glad we're doing this response video, and I'm glad the interview was done. I'm sure probably Zarek wasn't as glad. Who knows? He's probably still Oh, no. By the way, he did defend his comments in the video with the comment on YouTube talking about he doesn't understand the uproar because he could give a list of reasons why he doesn't date us blacks and Latinos. Show me that list. Tell me what it is, because for everything you probably say about blacks and Latinos, I'm sure it applies to many white people as well. So the Zerics of the world and everybody else, be careful how you generalize people, because just like the comments that were shown on YouTube and probably everywhere else in social media, it could come back to bite you.
So you both mentioned that you pretty much primarily date African American men. Have you ever experienced any type of, I guess, reverse discrimination or any what you would perceive as racism, being maybe white in a predominantly African American environment?
I haven't. I'm from the anti-civil rights capital of the world, Philadelphia, Mississippi, where they killed the civil rights workers. And I've dated black females, black males. My family's well known, and I've never had any, And like I said, my choice for black is just because that's what I'm attracted to. I've dated very, very poor black people, and I've dated, wealthy black people. So, and I do well on my own, so I'm not an opportunist.
Just let us set the record straight.
You may be right, Kevin. He may have misspoke, but then you pause and you think about what you say. And clearly, the reason why we're having this discussion is because he said some inflammatory things.
Well, he did say in the past 10 years, he said he's been trying to date or whatever. He's been running through and into the same thing repeatedly.
I've run it through, girl. Y'all catch it. He's good. He's good with it. He's good with it.
But not being able to find quality. I mean, I personally take issue with that because for me, it's just about what are you putting out there that keeps drawing the same thing to you over and over again.
When we first were introduced to him, I first saw him on Model City, that BET show, and he showed up with his boyfriend at the time to a party for all the models, and he was African American. So clearly he does date African Americans. If he's bringing them on a show, that's a reality show. So maybe he don't know what he liked.
Do you think this that this particular episode of Pillow Talk has helped or hindered the discussion?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, make your papers, Eric. Make your paper. All publicity, baby. Get out there. I heard that you wanted to take the video down. I don't think that you should. Stand by what you stand by, but you have to realize you're going to have to defend those statements. And I'm personally... I'll call you on it, and if I ever see you, I would be happy to discuss to you my opinion. If you think if you think that I'm taking what you said wrong, but you said some generalizations which I think struck at the core of black people, Latin, and gay people, of us being messy, infidels, or meaning that we can't be in committed relationships. And I mean, you're in a 6-year committed relationship yourself. So what does that say about you?
Kevin, did it help or did it hinder?
Anytime you put something out there that starts a discussion on anything, it's good because you get both sides talking. When we first saw it, there was a very, not say heated, but a good debate amongst friends. So anytime you bring up a topic that starts a conversation, I think it's a good thing. I agree with Rod. Make your paper. You're welcome to come to the Black Party in Phoenix, Arizona, October. I would love to have you. I know you support Black events, and we'd love to have you out. But yeah, you got to do you, and then at the end of the day, you have to look in the mirror and answer for what you put out there.
The thing about interracial dating and the way people view it, it's just interracial dating. You can even mention the whole thing about the black people fighting over Jordans. It's just we as a people, we have some issues going on collectively on this international world stage. We have some things in our community going on where people can't respond well to this. The healing it's some things that he can do and some things that we can do. Yeah, we cannot get bothered by it. Because I personally was like, well, good, I'm glad he's not dating me. I'm not in his dating pool because the interracial thing wasn't his only issue. It seemed like he had some other stuff going on. And it's not, I don't want to say he sounded unstable, but just wasn't, things just weren't developing. He hadn't done enough reflection. That CNN Black in America thing, it had the first one, had an interracial couple, the black woman with the white man. And they had children, and they kind of were commenting saying, well, if we kind of knew the way things were happening and what we were up against, we probably would have thought twice about getting together, being married, or having a child, and that whole the way society responds, how we feel about each other, and that level of understanding. So, you know, it's easy that we can all like go out and find us a white man and he live happily ever after. That's what people, you know, that's hasty generalization what people think. But it's deep rooted issues going on in that. You know, we'll be here all night. You got enough film for that?
There's been a lot of pressure for 3LWTV to remove the video. Should it be removed, or if not, why?
Absolutely not. I mean, he's been on TV before. He's done billboards. He had, you know, no problem listing his achievements, you know, so he should stand beside what he says.
Keep it up. I mean, I think that one thing about it is that, you know, you kept it real in the video. And I think what I respect about you was that you, in a way, you kind of were voicing some of our outrage when you asked about the self-hatred question. And you were respecting, of course, you're a guest. But no, I think that's the beauty of it, is that we're all, it may be catered towards gay people or even black gay people, but we're different. We have different, and I mean, I think, honestly, his opinions reflect, I'm sure, a lot of guys, a lot of black men, a lot of black gay men who are dating and trying to date. You know, so no, I think it should. But he, you know, he's not he may want you to take it down because I don't think he portrayed himself in the most. I don't think you did any spooky editing, but he didn't portray himself in the most positive light.
Now that it's out there, how do we heal?
This is healing by talking about it. I think when you don't discuss these things, you let them fester and anger comes out in different ways, you know, and so now you have this great opportunity where you can you can discuss it, and it's out in the open and we feel more comfortable. So I think the healing process has started with here. And I mean, Lionel, you know, I just want to take this time to just say this is my first actual video interview with Lionel, and I've been watching Lionel for several years right now, and I just really appreciate what you're doing. You are a healer with what you're doing, exposing us, putting us out there, letting the world just see these different flavors of our community and of people, and you do it well.
Oh, thank you. I think this is
you.
That was sweet. But no, I really do appreciate that, and it's just an honor to be able to have people open up and trust enough to actually be willing to share and to be honest and to be candid. So, yeah. I appreciate it. I'm sure there's a lot more to come. The discussion has been fierce. And I believe it's only just beginning. But I think it's a good thing that we are finally actually having a discussion about something other than some of the main things that we always talk about, HIV, AIDS, and fats and femmes. Not to diminish the importance of either of those issues, but there's a whole lot of other shit that we need to get together.
And all these things are actually tied together. A lot of our self-hate and everything has to do with why we have such high HIV rates, why our bodies aren't the way we want them to look, is because of our own internal discomforts and stuff like that. So I think this all ties into that very well.
All right. And you know, you got a lot of comments. You got a lot of, you know, they always asking me who was that dancing in the, because, you know, Rod was in the Sizzle, one of the Sizzle videos, and they were like, who was that light-skinned red at 6 minutes and 32 seconds? And I'm like, I got back in the, go check that back out. I always get that kind of stuff. People are like I'm like some dating service, you know, like, you know, everybody wants to match, right, yeah. For a fee. Get your coins together. The PayPal link is below. Well, gentlemen, I really want to thank you for hanging out and sharing a little bit of your insight with me this evening. Again, a very heated discussion. Please continue to pour out your feedback, positive. I don't want to say negative, but whether you're for or against it. But we definitely need to continue moving forward. And thank you again, Zarek, for bringing this discussion to light. Because we really, when I concluded the interview, I was like, even the next interview that I had, I shot JR, the model JR, came in like about an hour or two after Zarek, and he was like, what's going on? Because I was like, you know, Zarek said some stuff that was really just kind of out there, and I just thought, you know, I said, I don't, you know, I thought he was going to clean it up, but it's like, I'll give you the rope, and then what you choose to do with it is what you choose to do with it. So it's been interesting, but I'm actually glad he's done it, because it's really, like I said, it sparked a lot.
You know, if we took back Marion Barry and everybody else in the community that messed
Right.
up, we still love you. Come on
Right,
back.
Come on home. Come on home.
This is home, baby. Come on home.
Oh, look at it. Look, just
You know-
open. Arms open. It's out there already. People have seen it. Like I say, baby, just stand by your word. Stand by your word and do another interview then. If you feel you didn't come across clearly, I'm sure Lionel will give you another opportunity to represent yourself. But bad publicity, good publicity, I think it's all a learning experience. I just think you make it, it's what you make of it. So don't make this a bad thing. Turn this into something positive.
Definitely do a part 2 and bring your man so we can see what he look like. Okay, bring him on out.
That would be great. Yeah. I would love to see that too. Yeah.
Well, again,
I'm still waiting to see Tiger Tyson's wife.
Oh, yeah, I need to. I'm still working on that.
Okay, that's gonna be good.
That's gonna really be like woohoo. I'm Lionel Williams. Again, thank you for all of your love and support and for participating in this heated discussion. Always stand in your light. How do you feel about interracial dating, self-hate, and some of the other topics discussed here? Please post your comments and continue the conversation. So how do you see us moving forward and healing from this?
Roll the credits. Play the thing, play the jingle.
BOIREVOLUTION.